from the coast out several hundred miles. So we all really need to heed the warnings and prepare. Our message this afternoon is that please finish your storm preparations tonight. I can't underscore that enough. You do not want to be out doing preparations during the onset of tropical storm force winds. There are checklists available on the Rhode Island Emergency Management website. Even if you have lived through these storms before, many of us have, review your plan again. Take the time to talk to your family and make sure everything is accurate and up to date. Please stay informed. Pay attention to emergency alerts and information that may come out. Continue to follow local news, REMA on social media, and sign up for Code Red messaging. Code Reds are valuable tools. When you sign up, you get text and email alerts on the REMA website, which is rema.ri.gov. If you or anyone in your household is an individual with a disability, identify if you may need additional help during an emergency. You may have to evacuate quickly due to a hurricane, so make sure you know where you live. Make sure you know your evacuation zones and routes. If you must go to a community or group shelter, remember to follow the latest recommendations from the Centers of Disease Control for protecting yourself and your family from COVID-19. Be sure to review your previous evacuation plan, as I said, and consider alternate options. Maintain physical distancing to prevent the spread of COVID-19 and update your plan accordingly. We continue to monitor the storm and the situation closely. The best way to stay informed is to follow the governor, REMA, social media, the news, and sign up for Code Red, as I said before. One thing I would like to also mention is that we just were in contact with United Way 211. If you have questions related to the storm, call 211, and you'll be afforded the ability to get questions answered that way as well. So I'll pause there and open it up for any questions.
Director Pappas, how in the last, we were just here 24 hours ago, how do you think the forecast has changed? Do you think it's gotten, are you more worried about it now, less worried, just as worried, and has there anything in particular that's changed in the last 24 hours? Yeah, sure. So the storm has moved a little bit to the west. That puts us in the high wind area. So not as much rain inland, more storm surge along the coast and heavy winds, which is going to create power outage. We know it's going to do that. And so all the trees have leaves, and it makes it more susceptible for more power outage. So I'd say as much as concerned today as I was yesterday.
Is there a concern in terms of a particular time when you're expecting peak winds, say, in the greater Providence area?
Yeah, good question. So sometime just after sunrise tomorrow, the worst expected to be around 11 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Is the, on a side note, will the casino be closed this evening tomorrow?
The casino? Yeah. I haven't heard that, but I will check and get back to you. I'm not sure if anyone on the team knows that.
Director, is the Army Corps going to close the hurricane there?
The plans are in place to work with the Army Corps and the City of Providence to work on that.
Is there an ETA when that might happen?
I don't have an ETA on that. Sometimes they test it a couple times. There's pumps that have to happen, so if there's backflow coming from rain inside, they test those pumps. So I don't have the exact ETA, but I know the plan's in place to do so.
Has the Coast Guard deployed additional resources for boaters offshore and/or boaters who might be in trouble?
Not that I'm aware of at this time.
Is there anything else that you need from the federal government right now? Anything that you're most worried about right now that we don't have?
Actually, FEMA's been very good. They sent us a emergency management assistance team. They'll be arriving within a couple of hours. They sent a mobile response vehicle, which should be here very, very soon. They sent us a swiftwater rescue team, and they've been really great partners. We've gotten everything so far that we've needed.
What are you most worried about right now?
Power outage for sure. Not so worried about storm inundation surge. It's about 3 to 5 feet projected right now. If it stays there, we're okay. But you know, that strong wind mixed with those trees and saturated ground, we could see some pretty strong power outages.
Director, what kind of recovery period would you expect for widespread power outages?
You know, I have Terry Sobolewski here from National Grid, and he could speak to restoration times. Thank you.
Question for you.
Excuse me.
In terms of the storm surge, during Sandy, wasn't it about a
That's about right.
So as Director Pappas said, we do expect very significant outages with this event, particularly given the combination of the foliage on the trees, the saturation that we've had to date, and the high winds that are predicted. And we do expect those outages to be throughout the state. Certainly the highest winds will be in the coastal areas, but we also know the central and northern part of the state is very susceptible to tree damage as well and high winds. This will be a multi-day event, which means that it'll take probably a good 12 to 24 hours to get through all of our damage assessment before we can even begin to post estimated times of restoration. And then after that, we'll be deploying both internal and contractor or out-of-state resources that we have procured to make sure that we're ready to respond to the storm. So at this point in time, it's really difficult to predict what that restoration period would be until we actually see where the damage on the system is. But again, I would just encourage folks to understand this will be a multi-day event.
Sir, how far out of state, given the uncertainty as to where the hurricane is actually going to land and the impact, how far out of state are those resources being pulled?
So far from states throughout the Northeast, contract resources have been pulled in through the North Atlantic Mutual Aid Group. That's a key industry organization where utilities coordinate to make sure that we can move resources to the most critical areas as needed. We have put out requests beyond that, and we'll see what resources will be available, particularly as communities up and down the East Coast understand the final impact that they're going to see. And so those crews and those resources will be adjusted throughout the next few days.
Are they going to be in a particular area of, say, Connecticut, Central Massachusetts? Where are you pulling them physically?
Well, all of the utilities put in combined requests, and so each utility is responsible for their allocation of resources. As you would imagine, utilities through here in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and New York, particularly in Long Island, all of those are the areas that we're anticipating to be hardest hit at this point in time. And those utilities are working very closely together to procure resources from that area and beyond.
Have you been able to stage teams for mutual assistance closer to where we're going to be affected in the South Coast, especially if those teams are coming from places like Quebec Power?
Yes, we have. We expect the first waves of resources to be in throughout the day today, this evening, and into tomorrow morning. And then we would expect additional crews and resources to become available throughout the event. Of course, we're also very careful and cautious about traveling during the event, and so we'll have to be wary of that. But we will have crews in between now and tomorrow morning, and then additional crews tomorrow evening and beyond.
Is there a number attached to how many resources you have?
So far, we have 230 line crews, over 100 forestry crews, and more than 1,000 personnel standing by across Rhode Island.
Governor McKee, you said Rhode Islanders starting at midnight should stay home. Is that a formal order right now? Should they also stay off the roads? What are the
I'll let the Colonel speak to that. I mean, he's the one who's talking. Certainly you're going to let people know. But right now, we're saying, strongly recommending, and we're requesting that people stay home from midnight tonight to till Monday. And I'll have the Colonel on the utility issue. That was a direct conversation I had with the President. And we know that the recovery has been slow at times, but I believe that he's going to make, he told us that he would make a call. By the way, it was not just our state, it was the governors in general, that he was going to make a call to the utilities so that to activate those states that are not going to be impacted by this hurricane to stand ready. So we expect that additional resources will come in over and above what was just explained. The Colonel can talk about the issue in terms of the stay-at-home issue.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Governor. One thing the state police has noticed today has been past few hours is a large influx of motor vehicles coming from the north down to the south, Route 4, Route 1, which contradicts what we've been asking for. We would think we would have seen a large number of vehicles heading northbound on Route 4, Route 1, but instead there's been traffic jams from 95 all the way to South County. As a result of that, state police is requesting, I've contacted most of the chiefs so far personally, that the municipalities restrict access to roads in the coastal areas to residents only at midnight tonight. This will allow all first responders, fire, and police as well as the DOT, National Grid, and State Police to respond to do their job. We're trying to minimize the number of people coming into the South County areas, the coastal areas, from sightseeing, which we've had issues in the past. There have been people swept out into the ocean, especially the Narragansett area. Thank you.